In the mythic landscape of the American West, where legends often outpace truth, few lives were as large, as vivid, and as tangled as that of James Pearson Beckwourth. Born the son of a slave and a white planter, Beckwourth lived not just one life, but a dozen. He was a black man in a white man's world, a free man who traded with the tribes, a mountain man who became a Crow war chief, an explorer who blazed a trail through the Sierra Nevadas, and a chronicler of the wild frontier who became both celebrated and doubted. This is the story of the black explorer of the Rockies, a man who lived at the edge of the known world and kept pushing farther. Born between worlds, James Pearson. Beckwourth was born around 1798 in Frederick County, Virginia, the mixed-race son of a white plantation owner and one of his enslaved black women. Though born into slavery, Beckwourth's father later freed him and sent him to school, a rare move that gave the young man the tools of literacy and speech, though not the social protections of whiteness. As a teenager, Beckwourth bounced between odd jobs and misadventures. But by the 1820s, he made a fateful decision. He would head west, beyond the confines of American towns, into the wilderness. He signed on with William Ashley's Rocky Mountain Fur Company, the outfit that launched legends like Jedediah Smith and Jim Bridger. But it was Beckwourth's keen memory, fearless nature, and unshakable sense of identity that would make him stand out. The Crow Nation and the rise of a war chief in the early 1820s, Beckwourth found himself living among the Crow Nation, a plains tribe known for their horsemanship and warfare. Whether he was captured, adopted, or joined them voluntarily has always been debated, but Beckwourth became one of them in every way that mattered. He mastered their language, took multiple wives, and rose through the ranks to become a war chief, a rare and perhaps singular honor for a non-native, let alone a black man. He led successful raids, trained warriors, and guided the Crow through battles with enemy tribes. For over a decade, Beckwourth lived as a Crow, not as a visitor, but as a full participant in their world. When asked years later how he survived such a life, he said simply, "In those days, a man needed no passport but courage." Mountain man and pathfinder Beckwourth didn't stay in one place long. Like many mountain men, he drifted from tribe to trapline, from river valley to trading post. His travels took him through Montana, Wyoming, Utah, Colorado, and eventually California, decades before statehood, when it was still Mexican territory. In 1850, Beckwourth made his most lasting geographical contribution. He discovered and improved a route through the Sierra Nevadas, what would become known as Beckwourth Pass. It provided a vital corridor for settlers and traders moving west. It was a lower, gentler route than many, and it helped thousands avoid the deadly conditions of Donner Pass. To this day, Beckwourth Pass bears his name, etched into the geography of the West, the memoir that made and undermined him. In 1856, Beckwourth teamed up with a ghostwriter named Thomas Bonner to publish his autobiography, titled The Life and Adventures of James P. Beckwourth. It was sprawling, colorful, and controversial. The memoir chronicled his life among the Crow, his daring escapes, his role in frontier battles, and his travels through the wildest regions of the continent. It was, in every sense, epic, but some called it too epic. Critics, especially white readers, dismissed parts of the book as exaggeration. Others refused to believe that a man of mixed race could have accomplished such feats. Yet modern scholars agree. While some parts were dramatized, the core of his story is supported by historical evidence. He was a Crow war chief. He did help pioneer Beckwourth Pass, and he was one of the most experienced frontier guides of his day. A life that never fit the mold. Despite his adventures, Beckwourth never found lasting financial security or recognition during his life. He served briefly as a scout for the U.S. Army and helped during the Sand Creek investigations in Colorado, but he was often left out of official records. In part, this was due to his race. In a country that still viewed him as an outsider, his accomplishments were uncomfortable, even threatening, to the dominant narratives of Manifest Destiny. He wasn't the only man of color on the frontier, but he may have been the most accomplished. Yet his name faded into the background as others took the credit and glory. In his final years, Beckwourth returned to the Crow, his spiritual home. He died in 1866, reportedly poisoned by tribal members who feared he had shared too much of their knowledge with outsiders. Others believe he simply succumbed to illness. Either way, he was buried in Crow country, in the land he once fought to defend. The Crow remember. Today, Beckwourth's name has begun to reemerge. His legacy reevaluated by historians, his contributions honored by new generations. You can still find Beckwourth Pass in California, and the Beckwourth Museum in Sierra County tells his story with pride. Among the Crow, oral traditions still speak of the Black War Chief who lived as one of them. They remember a man who didn't just travel through their world, but embraced it fully. In an era when boundaries were drawn in blood and skin color shaped a man's fate, James Pearson Beckwourth carved his own path, not by conforming, but by wandering, by fighting, by surviving. A scout, a warrior, a storyteller, a legend, and above all, a man of the frontier who could not be forgotten, even when history tried to leave him behind.